The views and opinions expressed on In Touch are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the official party or position of Backyard Broadcasting. Any content provided by our guests are of their opinion, and they are not intended to malign a religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. Good morning and welcome to In Touch, a Sunday morning public affairs program dedicated to the health and welfare of the Susquehanna Valley residents. I'm your host, Joie Michaels. Join us at this time as we interview difference makers in the community who want to help make the Susquehanna Valley a better place. This morning, we're talking with Dory Rankin of the Central Pennsylvania chapter of Wreaths Across America. She's stopping by and we're going to be talking about how important Saturday, December 18th is to Wreaths Across America and how you can help this amazing cause. Let's go ahead and get to the interview, shall we? It's the interview with Dory on In Touch, a locally produced service of Backyard Broadcasting.
Wreaths Across America is a program that's been occurring in the United States at various cemeteries since the 70s. It started with a gentleman named Merrill Wooster, who has a farm, a tree farm in Maine, Columbia Falls, Maine, which is like almost to the Canadian border, and he makes wreaths. Well, one year he had 5,000 left over from the season. It was before Christmas still. He decided to load them up into a big semi-truck and take them down to Arlington National Cemetery. And he was allowed to place them on veterans' graves. It's a very humbling ceremony. People come out for it, and you stand in a single file line after they've done the opening ceremony, which lasts about 15 minutes, and they talk about the importance of honoring, remembering, and teaching our youth about the veterans and the sacrifices they made. And they take this wreath, it's about a 20-inch wreath, big red bow, and you walk over to a headstone, and you say the person's name out loud, thank them for their service, put it down, get in line, and go get another one. Now, the importance of saying their name out loud is because, a person dies twice. First, whenever their body takes its last breath, and then the second time, when there's no one left to say their name or tell their stories. So you fade into history. This is our way of remembering, honoring them, and then teaching the young people that are at this event more about, because we have some amazing soldier stories from Lycoming County. And this year, what's exciting about this year is it's happening in 10 cemeteries in central PA. Well, actually 11, because I'm not counting Picture Rocks. They're not part of our consortium. We created this group of like 15 to 20 like-minded people who have participated in this other places. And we start up this year at Ansys Fort and Pine Creek Cemetery, come down to Jersey Shore, then coming to Williamsport, there's the small Williamsport Cemetery on Washington Boulevard, and a very spectacular little cemetery that you kind of have to be like a goat because it's on this much of a hill. It's on Freedom Road. It is the resting place of 14 African American Civil War veterans. Then moving from Williamsport, we go down to Montoursville to their large cemetery, and then down to Montgomery to a little cemetery called Fairview, which is outside of town. Beautiful little place. And the American Legion down in Montgomery, and their auxiliary and the Sons of the Legion made sure all those graves are covered. Then I thought we would just call our group Lycoming County Wreaths Across America, and I got a call from Sullivan County. So now we've changed the name to Central PA Wreaths Across. Our goal is by 2025 to have 75 cemeteries throughout central Pennsylvania participating. And boy, if I could find someone from NASA who could do a satellite shot of Central PA to see all that beautiful green and red all over the place, that would be impressive. But communities have come together and they sort of made a pact with each other as a group that we would follow that debt elimination process where start with the small cemeteries, get them covered. Once they're covered, move on to the two big ones like Jersey Shore and Montoursville. Montoursville has 2,730 veteran graves. Jersey Shore has 1,870. We have our work cut out. We've got the smaller ones pretty close to being done, and we've been chunking away at the two big ones with fundraising, and we're doing a raffle that the ticket will be pulled on Veterans Day, November 11th.
So November 11th is when the actual ceremonies take place, or no?
December 18th.
December 18th.
December 18th.
Okay, now is there a significance to this December 18th?
No.
Okay.
There is none. I mean, but it's just that all of the cemeteries across the United States are doing it together on December 18th.
So it happens all at the same time?
Roughly.
Yep.
I mean, you have different time zones.
Well.
But, and in addition to that, he ships wreaths over to Normandy, France, to the cemetery there for our fallen soldiers. It is a very moving tribute to be a part of.
Very nice. How did you get involved in this? You've got so many pots on the stove, as my mother would say.
You know, it's go big or go home.
There you go.
Basically what we do is I was watching the news one morning, having a cup of coffee, talking to the cats about what we were going to do that day, and after I retired from teaching, and I saw it on Fox News. They were doing a plea for Arlington. They said, we have 2,000 uncovered graves at this point. We need your help. And the viewers called in, donated money, got it taken care of before the event happened. And they said that piece about a person dies twice. Once when their body stops breathing physically, and then again when there's no one left to say their name or tell their story. And you fade into history. And I thought, but that's true.
So now what is your schedule for December 18th? What kind of event lineup have you got going on?
Well, I would encourage people to go to our Facebook page, which is Central PA WAA, all lowercase and one word, because that's how Facebook wants it. And like the page so that you get push outs that we send as far as fundraising events that we're doing prior to the event, and also it'll have a listing of the cemeteries you can participate in and the times that those are happening. Because especially in Sullivan County with the three, they're all within roughly a half mile of each other, but that American Legion is kind of spearheading that, so they're going to have to stagger their start times so that they make it to all the different locations. So people can volunteer by going to the Facebook page and sending a message. They can volunteer by contacting their local American Legion in a participating town. And that's sort of how this all spun into existence, was because originally I'd been working with Wildwood Cemetery and the Blue Star Mothers here in Williamsport. And then this year they were thinking they have some other projects they'd like to move into. And this is a pretty time-consuming event. So they set it aside for the year. And I thought, you know, I've had other communities as I'm fundraising say, I wish this could happen in our town. I'd like to do it at our cemetery. So that's why we opened it up to local cemeteries. And I just would encourage people to check out that Facebook page and see the listing of not only the participating cemeteries, but also contacting and realizing the huge groundswell of support we've gotten from businesses in the area. We have something where it's a $195 donation, but it gets us 13 wreaths, kind of like the 13 original colonies. And for that money, a business can be placed on what we're calling the Central PA Patriot Team. And we have a leaderboard with those names on. Then there's another donation that's a little more salty. It's $1,500. So we decided we'd name that one the Founding Fathers Team.
Okay.
So we have several businesses and organizations that have gone with that $1,500 as well.
Oh, wow.
Which is wonderful because it gets us 100 wreaths, moving us closer to those huge numbers.
Now, are you
Montoursville and Jersey Shore?
Are you still getting the wreaths from up Maine? Oh my goodness.
That's part of the deal.
Okay.
And people have asked me, well, why can't you just go to Walmart or Lowe's or Kmart or somewhere and get a $7 wreath? Well, because this wreath is extremely special. It's a veteran's wreath. And on our Facebook page, there's a video, maybe 4-minute video, that explains it. The gentleman who has the company has a farm, and there's one section, it's called the Remembrance Forest, and all of those trees were planted by Gold Star families, someone who has lost a loved one in a battle. Their dog tags of their loved one are replicated and embedded in the tree, so it's their tree forever. And they tip these trees around the farm. That means they cut off about 3 to 5 inches at the very end of a branch, the new growth, and they move around so that they don't scalp a section of the forest. And then they put these together in something called a bouquet. And there are 10 bouquets that are set up on this wreath form. Each one of them stands for a characteristic of someone in the military, like integrity, bravery, courage, and it goes around. I mean, it's just a very impactful little video. So yeah, there's a big difference between that and a $7 one from Lowe's or Walmart.
Right. Yeah, there's a
reason.
This is what started everything. You just don't want to stray from that, and so that you'll get your shipment in time for the event coming up in December.
And the exciting thing about that is there are companies all over the United States that volunteer their drivers. So last year we had a Tyson's food truck out of Clearfield, Pennsylvania. One year we had a couple that came all the way from Kansas City, husband and wife team. So there is a lot of groundswell support for this organization and the event. So we're waiting for our wreaths. They'll be coming in on truck by the Wednesday before the event, so the 15th. And I'm hoping to try to have some notable little coverage and activity going on, not just the truck coming in, offloading boxes and leaving.
And so once the wreaths come in, and they get shipped to the individual cemeteries, what happens next?
Well, we have our volunteers show up on the morning of the event, and there will be some cemeteries where things are happening at 10, some that things are happening at noon. We're going to try to coordinate to make it all a similar time, just for simplicity. And you'll show up. There'll be signage to tell you where to go. There'll be a large group meeting ceremony type thing where everyone can be safely distanced because we're outside and it'll be cold. So dress appropriately. And there's about a 15-minute service that explains the process and why we're there, the honor, teach, and remember part. And then everyone will come by, pick up a wreath, move to a headstone in the section that we're covering at that point, and they'll say the person's name out loud and thank them for their service. And then saying a prayer is optional. It's up to you. And then you get back in line and you go and you get another wreath. And that's how we keep moving until all the sections where the veterans are covered.
Now, I'm listening to you, and I'm hoping I'm not asking something I already did. But now you mentioned volunteers.
Yes.
Is that through the website as well that you can sign up to become a volunteer to actually participate?
Yes. And we do have a Weebly website that's just Central PA specific, but I don't have it memorized. It's on our Facebook page, though, listed.
Oh, okay.
So they can go there. And my contact is it's like all over the county, so I'm not shy about giving out my phone number. It's 570-772-2423.
Okay.
And just, you can get a hold of us that way. Is the easiest. I am notorious for responding in all of my committees of things, like within an hour or two. Just because I know when I have a question, I don't want to be waiting for weeks to respond. I try to be as timely as possible. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a love of a group of 15 to 20 people that started this consortium that were just really passionate about making sure the project continued to grow through central Pennsylvania. Because a lot of times people say, well, I really think that looks neat, but I don't know how to get it started in my community. And what we do is they contact me and we get information about who is in charge of the cemetery. And there's some paperwork that has to be registered and filed with the company in Maine so that insurances are activated. And from there, we help you with the fundraising. And that's the thing I love about this little group. Not only do they work together to fundraise for everybody's cemetery, but when this is all said and done, we have cleanup, like the first week in March, whenever it's a little bit warmer. And we're going to start up in Antis Fort and Pine Creek. And we're just going to sweep down through the valley and gather up all these wreaths and dispose of them, because the cemetery can't really incur that cost. So we're just working together as neighbors. And that's the thing that's just really touched my heart, is everybody's territorial about their hometown, but this group is territorial about their soldiers. And they're just really interested in showing up and doing whatever they can to get things taken care of, to honor these people. Well, we've had some interesting ways that we're going to dispose of these, because as we gather them up, we'll have Boy Scout troops pulling the bows off. We'll have other people clipping the wires so that those bouquets fall off and can be gathered up. We have someone who has a goat farm who's interested in having some of the the balsam branches for their goats, and we'll have taken all the wire out. And then another idea that was given to us was taking a piece of PVC pipe and attaching it to the bed of a truck, a bunch of them, and then after you've taken the bow off, putting the wreaths down on it like lifesavers. And then those posts are taken in, a cord is run through them, and we're working with the Department of Environmental Protection where we can put them down into a creek or a lake or pond for it to be a winter habitat for fish and other little critters. Then we'll pull those up, and obviously they'll have decayed, and all we'll have left are the little wire backings. So those then will be taken to Stamens, and we're working on something with them that they'll just take those and...
It is a beautiful thing. And so once again, is there any way you would like to wrap this up? Just put a bow on this one as well. Although I really think that boy, if people haven't gotten the bow out of this point, they need to rewind it and listen again.
Well, I guess my plea would be, if you are feeling pulled to this event, and making a donation would be huge. Watch our Facebook page and make a donation. If you know someone who owns a business, please have them contact us, because we really do want to make sure every grave in the cemeteries in Jersey Shore and Montoursville are covered. The other ones, we're all pretty confident that we've got that taken care of. So think about how can you do your part, and then give me a call. We're just working together as neighbors, and that's the thing that's just really touched my heart, is everybody's territorial about their hometown, but this group is territorial about their soldiers, and they're just really interested in showing up and doing whatever they can to get things taken care of, to honor these people.
Big thanks to Dory Rankin from Central Pennsylvania chapter of Wreaths Across America. Don't forget you can get on their website and also on their Facebook page. Their Facebook page is Central PA WAA. Thank you for listening to In Touch, a locally produced service of Backyard Broadcasting. The views and opinions expressed on In Touch are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the official party or position of Backyard Broadcasting. Any content provided by our guests are of their opinion, and they are not intended to malign a religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.